beautiful people. I'm Chris Maddox. I'm the founder of the Wild Woman Project and Wild Woman Fest. And I'm speaking to you today because I always speak to you at new moon time, and the new moon is upon us. So we are having like a very exciting new moon eclipse on Monday, August 21st, 2017. And this new moon eclipse, which is very rare, is actually going to usher in an entirely new moon cycle, which will last us all the way until September 19th. So we have this chunk of time between August 21st and September 19th. That's a whole moon cycle. So if you are new to the Wild Woman Project, one of the things you'll start to notice right away is we think about things in terms of moon cycle, the passing of time as we understand it, in sync with this orb, in the sky, this moon of ours, which moves in a period of, approximately 29 and a half days from new moon, which is totally darkness in the sky, to full, and then it wanes back down and becomes new again. And that whole cycle is really viewed as a chapter. So each and every new moon, we have this opportunity to engage really consciously with a new chapter of our lives. And in this way, that kind of pressing pause or taking note or taking a moment to consciously step from one chapter to the next really gives us the opportunity to live really intentionally. So there's a way in which, life can happen to us. That's one option. Or there's a way where we can really show up fully to meet life, to engage in the unfolding process of life. So that second option is a pretty empowering one. It doesn't indicate any amount of control over what actually unfolds, but rather kind of focuses on the fact that we can really meet our lives with a level of consciousness and awareness and possibility and presence that makes the living of our lives more empowered. We become more conscious creators because we have a sense of the interior experience being something which is super important. I mean, really at the end of our lives, there will be certain things that happen, but the accumulation of our lives, I think we look back and we say, oh, this is how it felt to be alive. These are the things that happened. This is what was important. This is what came forward. And so much of that, how we might reflect on our life or look back, is we can really remember how it felt. So we want to be really conscientious, and we're encouraging you at the Wild Woman Project to be really conscientious about the way in which you are meeting life, especially at this really pivotal time in our collective unfoldment. I mean, I don't have to tell you that we are living in a world on fire. In almost every corner of our shared life together, and for many of us, every corner of our personal life together, some more than others, there's struggle, there's breakdown, there's death, there's friction, there's hard stuff coming up right now. And we are at this really pivotal time in our unfolding story. So the need to actually meet our life with a level of conscientious presence becomes even more important, because that's, where possibility lies. Just recently we had our annual Wild Woman Fest on top of a mountain, and we got to be up there for 2 weeks this year, which is a rare occurrence. And one of our dear teachers, Robin Rose Bennett, who's a very gifted herbalist, teacher, and writer, spoke something in one of our rituals in the evening, and she said, power is only in the present moment, or power is found in the present moment, or something like that. And now of course I'm messing it up, but power exists in the present moment. That's the place of power, is in the present moment, is the essential idea. And that's absolutely true, especially when in the light of everything that's unfolding in our world. And we are looking at, in the past week, having these atrocious events of terrorism in Charlottesville, which we all have different relationships to. But I think if we're conscious, awake people who are tapped into the fact that we are one great big family on earth, when we are one great big family on earth, when somebody else is hurting, somebody else is being oppressed, we are all hurting, we are all being oppressed. So, what do we do? How can we hold this? How do we live? How do we create change? And of course, for each of us, this is going to be totally different. But one of the cornerstones that make change even possible is for us as individuals to get really dropped in. To get really dropped into the truth of our being. To get really dropped into our hearts. To get really dropped into how we feel about things, and to make space for the pain, for the anger, for the outrage, for the despair that wants to come through, and actually to allow ourselves space to feel this. It's very painful. It is very, very, very painful, and we need to honor that. And if we show up with a level of presence and we understand that possibility exists in the present moment, then moment by moment, breath by breath, conversation by conversation, action by action, one piece of guidance by another piece of guidance, moment to moment, we can begin to create change. So this leads us into our theme for this next moon cycle, which begins on August 21st, where our theme here at the Wild Woman Project is divine play. Divine play. There's a wonderful word in Sanskrit called lila. Say it, lila. I'm encouraging you to say it because Sanskrit is one of these juicy languages wherein the word is built to sound and feel like what it actually means. So when we say lila, lila, it actually evokes the quality. It's amazing. But it means divine play. So there's a sense when we start to tune into this concept of divine play, we are opening our minds to the possibility that this entire thing that we're experiencing called life is like this great big dance. It's a great big dance that we're all a part of. And like any great big dance, as you see in any great piece of art, it has all sorts of depths and dimension to it. So it has all the all the stuff of life, from the deepest depths of the darkest places inside of us to the height and the ecstasy and the joy and the light and of being, it's all of this. So when we talk about divine play, we're sort of opening up our minds to the possibility that we are tiny, tiny pieces of this great big play, this great big dance that is unfolding. So we're going to focus this month for this moon cycle, this entire chapter, on cultivating an attunement of playfulness. Playfulness, lightness of being, right? Because playfulness is opening ourselves up to creativity, new solutions. We learn as we play, we practice as we play. And it's so needed now in times where our hearts are very heavy. Rightfully so, our hearts are very heavy. And in order to create change, we have got to open up to new possibilities. And a lot of that requires us to, like a child's mind, open up to playfulness, open up to possibility, open up to, when we're playful and we're kind of light with things, there's a lightness in our being that allows us to explore things it may not have even occurred to us to explore if we're not in that attunement, if we're like very in the serious thing. And playfulness, you can be pretty serious about your play. So in Wild Woman Project Moon Circles, which are happening all around the globe, this is going to be our theme. And each facilitator, trained facilitator, will bring you through this process, this journey of circling in her own way and in her own flavor. But there is an overarching attunement that we're all asking across all of our communities, which is what would happen if I actually played, if I danced my way through this life? How would things change? How would this shift? What would it open up? That's the question we're in. There's no hard answer to that question. It's something that as a community, we're gonna figure out together. We're gonna try this thing on. So your invitation, of course, is to start on the new moon, around the new moon time, is to go to one of these circles if there's one near you. If there isn't one near you or you can't make yours, you can always download your new moon companion, which has a more in-depth talk with me and a meditation and a dream sheet. And with either of those experiences, you're gonna leave with a very clear intention for the cycle ahead. And then we're gonna be in this process for the whole moon cycle, and we'll provide resources and things through Wild Woman Weekly-ish to help you in your continued exploration of this. So divine play, this concept of Leela, that we're all in a great big dance, really will begin to unlock possibilities we have not yet been open to. That's the chance that we have, is that we'll learn together through this. And I want to read to you some lines from the mystic poet Rumi. Dance when you're broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. So our wish for you at the Wild Woman Project is that you play this moon cycle, that you explore what it would be like to approach life as a big dance. And let's see what happens. Let's see what possibilities lie in each present moment as it passes before us. I want to mention before you go that looking forward into the fall, we have Wild Woman Project Circle Leader training. So if the idea of facilitating circles for women in your community is something exciting to you, if the idea of going deeper with the project or going deeper into the Wild Woman archetype or the moon cycles or what it means to create sacred space, if any of that stuff is starting to pull on your heart, I encourage you to join us for fall training, and registration for that will open soon enough. But I'll put links below this video to everything that I've mentioned here. And I'm wishing you a very sweet, playful, creative, buoyant moon cycle. As always, I'll see you over at thewildwomanproject.com.